Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of News Round for Anfield Index. It is Monday, the 24th of February, and I kind of know the answer to this already, but as it says on the screen there, how are we feeling this morning? On the back of a 2-0 victory at the Etihad. It was different, the performance, but the result was what we were hoping for. I mean, City have been a weakened team this season, haven't they? There's no two ways about it. So we got what we wanted, probably in a very different format. But when you are in the position we are in, who really cares? I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from. It is still cold, it's still wet, and it's hammering into the windows here in Edinburgh. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, it's quite nice. But to be honest, wherever you are in the world, as a Red, everything is looking rosy at the moment, isn't it? And as we're talking about how we're feeling there's two players who should be absolutely on top of the world, Mo Salah and Dominic Szoboszlai there in this changing room afterwards. Although, even Monday, I bet they'll be a little bit stiff-legged, a bit tired still. Szoboszlai, if you saw him in the after-match interview, he was absolutely exhausted, wasn't he? And this game, I mean, to beat Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad is always a great result, no matter what the state of City, whatever you say, it's a great result. When we say, though, how are you feeling? Normally, if we beat City at the Etihad, you'd be trying to get your hands on every piece of content you could, wouldn't you? It'd be one of those inject it into my eyeballs type of job. And there is for bits of it. Who's watched that set piece about 15 times? At least, no doubt. Who has rewatched the Salah assist for Szoboszlai slides it in his weaker foot and even just give a little fist pump yourselves? I bet you've all done that. You've watched the two goals. Trying to think, may have watched the odd clearance, but in a game where we had 34% possession, I mean, that's unheard of for us, isn't it? We don't really have 34% possession. Just even struggling to say it because it's just really unusual for us, isn't it, in that regard? So it's a different feeling, but maybe, just maybe, there's something a little bit sweeter about how we feel this morning because having given away that late goal against Everton, remembering that feeling, having started so well against Villa, then just switched off and gave sloppy goals away again, then just missed those chances. There was a bit of, are we going to have to play at the Etihad to win this game? Are we going to have to go toe to toe? We're going to have to really bloody their nose. And it was funny that me and Bart's talked on Stat Me Uppers, and he said, because of the red zones where players are, we might have to win this game early. And technically, I suppose we did, but in a manner with 34% possession, I think that has surprised an awful lot of people. But if you haven't sung this song 84 million times in your head, be it as you're heading into work, if that's what you're doing, be it just in the evening, the shower, whatever it is, let us never speak anymore. One hand on that trophy. I think it's absolutely fair to say that. I mean, you look at this now, it's just beautiful, isn't it? An 11-point gap to Arsenal. Arsenal have played 26, Liverpool have played 27. Arsenal sit on 53 points, Liverpool sit on 64. So, I mean, the mathematics will keep coming, and there's Opta supercomputers there, but an 11-point gap at this stage of the season, it must just be breaking in a beautiful way Arsenal hearts. And they had that defeat on Saturday, wasn't it? And I totally didn't expect this. A lot of people apparently Nostradamus seem to, but when Arsenal lost at home to West Ham, Wanya, and not wishing ill on players, Wanyeri limps off. You think, well, they've only got Sterling, they've only got Trossard available. Lewis Skelly's then sent off, and they just look devoid of ideas. They just look defeated. They looked exactly the opposite of what we showed yesterday. And 11 points clear, yes, there's a game in hand. I mean, just some basic mathematics there. Arsenal have got 12 games left to go in the season, which means the absolute maximum they can get is 36 points more, which if you add 53 to 36 takes Arsenal to a points total of 89. Now, Arsenal are not going to get 89 points. We no chance at all. We've seen what's happening, but 89 points is the maximum they could get. Liverpool, with 11 games left to go, so 33 points left to play for, are on 64 there, aren't they? So they can technically go, if they get all the maximum points, a quick bit of maths, add 33 to 64, puts you to 97, doesn't it? It just all seems too much for Arsenal. And you think of the other thing that just makes you put another hand on the title. Manchester City didn't score today. Yesterday, sorry, against us. But they still got one more goal than Arsenal. Arsenal have got 51 goals. Tottenham have scored more. They are not really scoring particularly. I mean, even against Leicester the other day, a week ago or so, wasn't it? That they needed late goals from Marino. It just doesn't look like Arsenal really there to mount a fight. So that gap is looking better and better by the day. It really is. We can't believe we're saying this. We're starting this week. And if you think on Saturday, and I thought Arsenal would beat West Ham, so you're thinking, okay, that puts the gap down to 5. And people will say things. This is not being a bedwetter. This is not being just thought Arsenal would beat West Ham. That's genuinely honest. But 11 points clear just looks absolutely brilliant. And for the week ahead, people, if you think what's mainly on the docket, games, isn't it? Liverpool and Arsenal both play on the same night. So on Wednesday, 26, 2 days' time, Arsenal go 45 minutes earlier than us. So they are away at Nottingham Forest. I mean, second versus third. How tough a game is that for them? And Forest did lose away at Newcastle yesterday. However, got it back to 4-3, having been 4-1 down. There's fighting spirit, and that is something that Arsenal just seem a little bit lacking at the moment. So that's going to be a really tough game for them. We went to Forest. Remember how tough that was for us as well. So, yeah, a maximum is difficult for them there. Then again, we are playing a Newcastle team that it's almost a rehearsal of the Carabao. Well, it is a rehearsal of the Carabao Cup, isn't it? So there's 2 tough games, and maybe I'm just being super greedy and you're all going to shout me down as I say this, but that week ahead, it's all focused, all eyes on Wednesday. It would not surprise me if the gap's even bigger. Genuinely serious on that. Don't know about you, but 11 right now. Yes, we've played a game more. I mean, if Arsenal draw that game even, it's 1.5 hands on the trophy, isn't it, really? Honestly, trying not to salivate on a Monday morning as I'm telling you this, but the week ahead, and a bit unusual in a way for us, in the week ahead, there's only one game this week. It is just Wednesday. The weekend, next weekend, is FA Cup, isn't it? We were knocked out by Plymouth. And maybe in the grand scheme, the wild context of everything, in the massive universe, it's not the worst thing to be out that cup now and just resting, because some of these boys are playing a lot of football. I mean, you saw it yesterday. Szoboszlai, Salah, so many of them look absolutely blitz, didn't they? Nothing left to give at the end. So it's almost the case if we can say to them, lads, give everything, get through this, and then there's a week. There's a whole week to prepare for PSG. So yeah, one game this week. Bit strange to say that, but that's what it is. That does not mean there isn't dates for your diary. So Tuesday, Arne Slot's got his press conference, so he'll be chatting through all his normal bits there. You know what he's going to be asked about this. When I don't know, he'll do the normal calm, reassuring. There's a lot of football to go, etc. So we'll play that out. But I'm looking forward to that one. Other things with Arne Slot as well. The charges. It's still possible, and we've been asking around about this as a few journos have called out. So it is one even for today. Just keep your eyes peeled. That they pled guilty, him and Kahuzlov, his assistant, to the charges. So waiting the FA to see what punishment they dish out. A lot are expecting a 2-game ban. We do not know for certain and a fine. But if that's the case, how mental is this to say? Newcastle, Wednesday, the 26th of February at home. Could be Johnny Heitinger's Reds. It's genuinely possible. We have to wait and see. But just keep your eyes peeled for that one because there's a lot of journalists that say expecting news early this week, maybe even later today on that one. So that's just a couple of dates for your diary. Now, I have got absolutely no shame whatsoever in doing this. Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, the walking demigod, how sensational was he yesterday? And it just felt like after all this time, and I mean after all this time and this season, the wider football world is finally starting to accept we've just got a player that's just different. Apart from Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, Ballon d'Or. I mean, he's absolutely the front runner right now. There's a lot of football to be played this season. There's a lot of things that could happen, as we know. As was mentioned there, the voting, the manner, what it's based on, the Champions League is going to have a huge say in that as well. But Mo Salah is just operating on a different level. And this week, you'll see all various things, I'm sure. And I hope it carries on talking about him. But just one that struck me this morning that I saw, so I put it on the screen for you there. This season, 50 goal involvements already, 30 goals, 20 assists. That's Messi Ronaldo numbers. It's February, for God's sake. It's just absolutely insane. And strap in now, because you're about to get hit with Mo Salah information and records galore. So, after the City game, here are 6 key facts about Mo Salah. Mo Salah is the first player in Premier League history to register 40 goal involvements in 2 different seasons. Mo Salah is the first player in Europe's top 5 leagues to be directly involved in 50 goals across all competitions this season. The first to do it, 50 goal involvement. It is February. Insane. Oh yeah, Mo Salah has scored and assisted in 11 Premier League games this season, the most by a player in a single season in any of Europe's big leagues since Messi. And that was all the way back in 14-15. And he got 11 as well. So he's going to overtake it, you'd suspect, at the same time. He's already smashed Wayne Rooney's record. Oh, yeah. Mo Salah has provided more assists in 24-25 this season than any other Liverpool player has in a single Premier League campaign. So he's already beaten the previous Liverpool record and he's going to smash it even further. Mo Salah is the first player in Premier League history to score an assist in both games against the reigning champions, Manchester City, this season, isn't it? In any season. So you think back to Anfield, that goal for Gakpo, just insane, wasn't it? Yeah, that pass that was through the eye of a needle. And even this one, bit of fortune with the deflection, but what man? Well, he's a god, isn't he, really? He has earned that so much. And oh, yeah, Mo Salah is the first player to score 25 goals and register 15 assists in a Premier League season. He's now vying to absolutely destroy the records. He was in the top 5 players. Henry got 24 goals when he'd done it that season. Oh, yeah, Mo Salah's gone ahead of him. Just insane. Whatever anyone says about who's playing well and some stupid celebrations with your arms shivering and all that nonsense, just remember that if any of your mates who support other teams are having any conversations at all. It's just insane. The only hope would be after he was just a different level yesterday, as was the captain. It would be nice to get some contract news, wouldn't it? And as I'm saying this and setting up the week, do I have any hope? Yes. Do I have any expectation? Absolutely zero. But Sam Wallace had it out yesterday, didn't he, in the Sunday Telegraph? There is an expectation from many that VVD and Salah will stay, whilst Trent will move on, and an expectation that VVD could become the highest paid defender in Europe. Good. Did you see these two yesterday? Honestly, I'm bored of the whole thing. Just give them what they want. Honestly, it would just, I think it would just really give more of a boost in everyone's step. But am I expecting any contract news? Absolutely not, people. But we'll see what the week brings. Naturally, we'll tell you what we're bringing on AI because depending on what you covered yesterday, tons of shows in there. The Raw, so that was Trev, Dave, and Carl were on that, eulogizing, waxing lyrical about the defensive nature of the performance. So that was great. I know Gags had Marco on the Gags Tandem show afterwards, so that was good. Nina and Ben did the roundup for the Premier League. So honestly, we had content coming out the wazoo if you weren't part of Jack's watch along as well yesterday. And this one that I thought was just a proud thing and deserves a shout out for everyone who's contributed. But if you look at that, that just sort of popped up this morning. 1.5 million views on the AI YouTube channel. No easy feat by any means. So a shout out to everyone that has played a part in that. And if you've not subscribed already, get on there, get watching the videos. There is some quality stuff. Even if that sounds big headed, it's not meant to be. There's just so much great content. And speaking of great content, there's loads of things coming up this week. I know the Minefield boys will be doing their usual show up. The guys will be there. Media Matters we've got later this afternoon with David Lynch about this game and various off the field matters. All your normal shows. Obviously, everything is geared around Wednesday's game, isn't there? So there'll be the pre-match on Tuesday, post-conference presser, and Wednesday will be the post-match things again. It just doesn't seem to stop. In a way, maybe you might disagree with me, but maybe the contributors think the same. Maybe nice to have a little weekend off with the Saturday coming up before the final push. Who knows? But there you go, ladies and gents. Monday, the 24th of February. Let's just take one final look at that league table that sees Liverpool on 64 and Arsenal on 53. Mind that gap, if you will. And that was another news round for Anfield Index.